welcome to our live stream. I see, Alessio, that you are here, or you were here a minute ago. This is our quiz. I'm Jen from English with Jen. I have 10 questions for you, like I do every week, about the topic that we have going on for the week. Our topic this week is learning languages. So I have 10 questions that are about learning languages around the world. And yeah, so it's going to be fun. I've learned a lot, and I hope to share with you some new information with my quizzes, especially this one. It's more kind of like for fun and practicing listening comprehension, being able to learn some new vocabulary, express yourself. I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say. It's very important to me to be able to hear what you think, or if you have any additional information to add, please do so. So I teach conversation English for those of you who might not know me. And I just try to give you an opportunity and a platform to be able to communicate, to use the language. I have a live stream here on YouTube every Wednesday. On Tuesday now, I'm going live at about 4 p.m. German time, where I add people to talk to me about the topic of the week, so very specific questions. So yeah, I hope you decide to become part of the community here. You can find it right there. Subscribe, follow, do what you need to do, but welcome anyway. So 2 people are here, and we're just gonna hop into it, all right? I hope whoever is here is well and doing fine. I think Alessio's here. It's somebody else. We will see. So here's our first question. And yeah, let me get rid of the banner. So, oops, I don't know. Now I've gotten rid of the comments. So banner, goodbye. And our first question for today. Here we go. Okay, so which writing system? Oh, shoot. Oh, no. I know what I've done. Ay. Okay, let's do this, because I have just realized, let me get rid of that I forgot when I create these slides, I have to save them transparent so that little white box can house me. So I have saved all of these non-transparent. And so this is going to be a bit of a national nightmare. Let me see what happens. I'm going to say goodbye and come right back, and I will see you in about 5 minutes, and we will go from there. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see. Bye. Actually, no, I can't. I don't think I can leave, because then that ends this whole entire live stream thing. Hang in there with me, whoever's hanging in here. I'm going to go right out. I'm going to save all of these slides, save them as a transparent background. I hope I've done that now. And so save them all, and then we'll just add them as we go and just tackle them as they come about. Sorry for the lack of professionalism here. Here we are. Okay. Oh, wait. So Alessia, I'm back, actually. I will try to get these in order. I don't know if you're here still or not. Let me see what I've got. I'm going to get rid of all of these old ones. Yeah, sometimes it's like my brain is in 2 different worlds. I'm sure many of you understand that. And if I'm not completely concentrated, then these sorts of little funny mistakes happen that are not so funny, actually. Annoying, more annoying. Let's be really honest here. And so I'm going to add our first question. Let's see if this is going to work. Let's see if that's going to be transparent, and we can go from there. And then I have to add each one of them individually, because they always save out of order. Hello, Alessio, probably again. So I'm going to add this one, and we'll just kind of click through them as we go and see what happens. I'll get rid of number 10 because we need number 1. It's a small lesson today, which is fine. I announced this very late. Hello to the 3rd person who's joined. So my apologies for being so behind getting things out. I have my daughter here this week, and kid's birthday and juggling. And so, yeah, I didn't get the warning or the alert, the announcement. So let me see if I can pull up number 1 easily. Let's see what this one's going to be. That's 4. That's one. Aha, here we go. Okay, so I got lucky. Second try. So which writing system is used for languages such as Bulgarian, Russian, and Bosnian? Is it A, Latin, B, Cyrillic, or C, Greek? And this was kind of fun because this was a question that Peter and I had the other day. So it was kind of like, very so actual question. So I was able to correct him, which happens rarely. Okay, so Alessio, you're going with B. And that is the correct answer. It's, oh, actually, hold on, Cyrillic, not Cyrillic. I always want to say acrylic, Cyrillic, Cyrillic. And what I thought was kind of interesting is there's this word I will put up onto our screen. I learned a new word and I want to share it with you. Grapheme. Hold on, let me see if I'm spelling it right. Grapheme. And this is the smallest unit that you can have in a language. So in Latin-based languages, a grapheme is a letter. But like in Chinese, it's a character. So it's the smallest unit that you can reduce sort of the structure, the building blocks of a language. And I thought it was also kind of interesting because my question that I had with Peter the other day was, he was saying that that Russian was actually the Greek alphabet. And in my research, I learned that Russian, that first, Greek was derived from the Phoenicians. So the first two was the Phoenicians. The Greeks took the Phoenician alphabet, tweaked it, altered it. I'll write that word. That's a nice word. If you change something slightly, you tweak it. Hey, Lorena, darling, welcome. So the Greeks took the Phoenician alphabet, tweaked it, made it Greekified, and then the Russians took the Greek alphabet. I guess it was the Russians, or is the Slavs, the Slavic countries. They took it, added some extra letters and such, so that it could represent their language better, because there is a strong similarity between Greek and Russian. And let me pull it up just to kind of give you an idea. I think this is kind of interesting. If you take a look here, these are European languages. So you can have the alphabet A, B, G, D, and E, comparing it here with Armenian, which I think looks really pretty. And then Greek, okay, so we have the A, the B, the G, the D, and the E, and comparing it then with the Latin alphabet, and then the Cyrillic one. So for me, like, I have a lot of people who write things, because I think on the EWA platform, they have a lot of Russian speaking followers. And you see that last one. Yeah, say hello, Renette. Hello, dear. And so you have a lot of Russian speaking followers, and I'm never sure if it's Greek or Russian what they're writing. But there's this little character, oops, hold on, let me see if I can point to it, there, that gets written a lot. And for me, it looks a little bit like a Space Invader. Do you remember that game from the 80s? B. Yes, you're right, dear. You're right, absolutely. Anyway, so I guess when you see that, and also I think in Russian, they have something that looks sort of like a backwards N, like a reversed N. Excuse me. So this is how I'm going to tell the difference now between Greek and Russian. They are related, but the Russians took the language, or the Slavic culture took the language and altered it so it fit their alphabet and their language actually better. All right, so let's move on to number 2. It's going to be a bit of a guessing game. And Renate, you're not alone. Alessio was here at first all alone, but now you're here too. And Lorena's here, and one other person that I have no clue who is here. So anyway, let's find number 2. This is a little bit of a guessing game today. That's 9. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to get rid of 1 right away. Actually, let me delete it, and then it will make my life a lot easier. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. I deleted the wrong one. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, we will come to that one when I can't find it. It's a bit all over the place. Here's number 2. Okay, here we go. So, excuse me. Which language has no words for yes or no? Is it Gaelic, Navajo, or Icelandic? What are you saying? Which language has no specific words for yes and no. What can you tell me? Any guesses? A, B, or C? Okay, so you are going with, Alicia, you're going with Gaelic. Okay. Any other guesses? I'm going to take a little sip of coffee and we'll cruise on from there. If anybody has another guess, a language that doesn't have, hello, Sandra, dear. So B, Navajo. Any other guesses? And if not, no problem. I will go ahead and give you the answer. Wait a couple seconds and see what you have to say. And let's see. I don't really know. Maybe C. Okay, so we have an A, we have a B, we have a C. That's an that is interesting. First time I heard it. You're guessing B, Navajo. Okay. Yes, this is the first time I had ever heard of it too. I learned so much with the preparation. But the sad thing is this is one of those things that you learn, or I learn, and then I forget next week. So it's very Dory-esque from Nemo. Anyway, so the answer is actually, Alessio, you are already again this week 2 for 2. You're going to be our reigning weekly quiz champion because it is actually Gaelic. So in the Gaelic language, so that's in Ireland, in the Gaelic language, they don't have direct words for yes and no. So evidently what they do is that they repeat the verb. So if it's a positive, they repeat the verb in the sentence, meaning it's positive. So like have. And if it's okay, because I don't know how to pronounce this, obviously, I don't speak Gaelic, but an be a fool to anze. So are you here? Okay, well, hold on. With to be, there is kind of a yes and a no. But with other verbs, there isn't. So they would just say, they would repeat the verb, and that would be positive. And if it's negative, then they say something that kind of looks like N-O-I-R, noir. I don't know. It sounds kind of French to me. But they don't have a direct yes and no that they add. So you hear it in the way that the sentence is structured. And I thought that was kind of cool, like to not have a yes or a no. I wonder how that affects the psychology of the people. You know, when we were talking about this the other day, when you have specific things like that Americans always say they love everything, because that's kind of how our culture is sort of displayed to us. That's how we're taught to think. I'm sorry. Can you believe I still have this cold? So ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Let me try to delete it. I don't know what keeps deleting other things. Okay, let's find number 3. I'm not going to delete anymore. That was a bad idea. I don't know. There's 3. Okay. So what percentage of English words are borrowed from other languages? So my Italian friends, how often is it that I'm like, I bet you have this in your language? We're kind of like, that's a nice word. Put that in our pocket. It's kind of how English is. So do you think it's 40% of the words in English, 50%, Sandra, I'm glad you find that interesting, or 70%? What do you think? How many words are not English-based in their origins, but they come from something else? What can you tell me? And yeah, what can you tell me? What do you think? 40, 50, or 70% of the words are not really original English words, whatever that means. I guess if you go far enough back in time, everything is somehow kind of related. But okay, so Renette, you're going with 70%. Okay. Alessio, my dear, do you want to be 3 for 3 today? Let's try it. All right, so maybe 50%. Okay. Any other guesses that we've got that we can add to our little quiz today? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and give you the answer. And it is 40%. Okay, so the answer is C, 70%. 70% of the words are borrowed from other languages. For example, Latin, French, Greek. We have German-based words as well. Lorena, you said 40% as well. It's 70%. And then I thought that as like a little additional question, How many words do you think are estimated to exist in English, in the English language? How many words do you think that there are? What would you say? Around how many words? Excuse me. How many words? And maybe if you know how many words you have in your language, then you can let me know that as well. Tell me your language and also let me know how many words exist in it. So how many words, as a little additional thing here, let me see if I can pop it up here. Let me create a little banner for us. Oops, let me go there. How many words approximately exist in English? What can you tell me? As a little additional question. Is that going to work? No, there we go. How many words exist in English? Any answers? What do you think? Do you think that it's like 10,000, 5,000? You have no idea. You can just take a guess. It's just for fun. What do you think? I can tell you that the amount of words that actually are in the English language is significantly higher than what is actually used. Nowadays, I feel like everybody just says the F-bomb and is done with it somehow. But okay, so the answer is actually around 1 million words are in the English language, but most native speakers, to take the pressure off of you, only use about 20 to 35,000 regularly. So we have a lot of words in our language that we've borrowed, 70% of which we have borrowed from other countries. So nice guess, Sandra. So you're close to what the average native speaker actually uses. 20 to 35,000 is what the average native speaker typically uses. All right, so let's move on. Let me get rid of our little banner there and take a look. And we need question number 4, which I am going to do 7, 8. I had to start a little bit. There we go. Okay. So which language doesn't have specific words for numbers? So they don't have 1 to 100. They don't have 10. They don't have numbers that they use specifically in their language. Do you think that it is Piraha? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Or is it Swahili or Basque? Which one of these languages do you think doesn't have a word or doesn't have words for numbers? So Piraha, Piraha, Swahili or Basque? What do you think? What can you tell me? Which language has no numbers? This is my kind of language. No numbers. I don't want to deal with numbers. Let's just say, a few or many. So in this language, they don't have specific numbers. They say a few or some or many. So Sandra, you're going with C. All right. Any other guesses? Lorena's going with A. Piraha. All right. C maybe. Okay. The Basque country. Okay. So, and Alessia's going with C as well. So the actual answer is Piraha. So, Sandra, you got it, my dear. And like I said, they don't have specific words for numbers like 1, 2, 3. They say a few or some or many, and that's enough for them. Another cool thing, these are people that live in the Amazon rainforest. There are only about 300 to 400 people who live in this tribe, I guess we would call it. And another interesting thing in their language is it not only doesn't have numbers, but they also do not use colors. So they don't have any words for colors. And yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So it's a very different language to what we know, and linguists, people who study languages, are extremely fascinated by this culture because the way they use language is so significantly different than many of the languages that we know. So I thought that was kind of cool. Only 300 to 400 people. So, all right, let's move on to number 5, and let's move to the entire world. So I've got to find 5. Oh, if I were number 5, where would it be? Right there. I'd be right there. All right. So, how many languages are spoken worldwide? Is it 5,000, 7,000, or 10,000? How many languages do we still have on our planet or that exist today that we know of, right? So 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. What do you think? What could be maybe the answer here? How many languages? Okay, so Lorena, you're going with B, 7,000. All right, and let's see. Any other guesses for our little question here? Sandra with C. Alessia B, Renit B. Okay, so for those of you who guessed B, you are correct. There are 7,000 spoken languages worldwide. But here is something crazy that I learned, is that languages, of course, they're started, but they also die, right? You can give birth to a language somehow, like the computer language, it's, a very new type of language. So new languages do develop, but they also die. They go extinct. I'll write that word. Just like dinosaurs, they no longer exist. Extinct. Oops. Extinct. There we go. And so this is really fascinating, I find, is that every 2 weeks, one of these 7,000 languages goes extinct. So that's why you have a lot of times nowadays when they have these special languages, you have the World Cultural Heritage that tries to step in and to make sure that these languages get preserved. A lot of Native American languages, we don't know what they sound like anymore because there's nobody that speaks them. Maybe some Inuit languages. And so many languages get lost. I would think with 300 to 400 people with this tribe in Peru, also in danger of getting lost and us not knowing what they sound like and what they are. And yeah, so I thought that was really interesting that every 2 weeks, a language goes extinct. So it's really important that we have people out there who are trying to preserve these languages so that we don't lose them. All right, moving on to other types of language, okay? And when I was in the 3rd grade, there was a girl in my class who couldn't hear. And so she taught me how to write my name in sign language. So I can show you what that was. So this is 3rd grade. This is JENNIFER. So I remember that from 3rd grade. It's probably the only thing I remember from 3rd grade. But so here's our things. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of our little banner. And my question for you, we're on question number 6. Probably here. Nope, that's 7. That's 8. That's 10. That's 9. And that's 4. And maybe I got rid of 6 by accident. Oh no. Okay, I have to dig for it a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's see. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully that's it. Let's see. We'll add 2 more. I accidentally deleted 1, I think. Does anybody know how to do sign language? But this is going to be our question is going to be about sign language. Yes, 6. Okay, so how many distinct sign languages exist worldwide? This is another question that I had with Peter the other day. We were like, because there's German Sign Language, I guess. Like, I guess it depends on the different languages. Or is there a universal language that people speak? But so yeah, so anyway, how many sign languages exist worldwide? Do you have any, still B, do you have any experience with sign language? And we have A, 50, B, 150, or C, 300. I have 2 Bs with 150. I'm trying to look up to see what the answer is. Excuse me. So how many languages do you think that there are worldwide? Sign languages, so, doing all of the hand signals. And yeah, So we have two B's, and I will go ahead and give you the answer. And the answer is actually C, I think. Yes, C, 300 different languages. Lorena, you got it. So 300 distinct sign languages worldwide. And I wanted to write this also because nowadays we do not say that people are blind, you don't see, or deaf if you don't hear, or mute if you don't speak. We have more politically correct terms that we can use for these things. And so to give you an idea of things that you can say so that it sounds a little bit more inclusive and kind, perhaps, is that if you cannot see, then you are visually impaired or a person with vision loss. If you would like me to write these, I can as well. If you cannot hear, then you are hard of hearing or a person with hearing loss. If you cannot speak, then nonverbal, or a person who is nonverbal. So I think it's nice to kind of have these extra words that you might not have in everyday English learning to be able to communicate about people that, for example, with my friend in the 3rd grade who was, I was just don't want to get these things wrong, because I think that there are also people in the community that would say the things that I'm telling you are not correct. So as far as I know, people with hearing loss, let's go with that. So my friend who had hearing loss, then that's how you would say, instead of saying deaf, which is what people would say back in the day, which has become a word that doesn't feel very kind. All right, so moving on to another alphabet, okay? We started with alphabets, and now we're moving on to a different one. Albanian is the only modern representative of the distinct branch of the Indo-European language family. Albanian is the only modern representative of the distinct. So in this case, so wait, Renee, can you tell me more? Like, is this the most recently added? Is that what you mean? Or modernized? I'm not quite sure what you mean, but I would really like to understand. Okay, so while Renee might be answering me, and let's move on to another alphabet, and I need to find slide 7. We're gonna go through them. Here we go, 5, 3, 6. It feels like a very strange New Year's countdown. Here we go. Which alphabet has the most letters? So is it Khmer? So in Cambodia, is it Arabic or Russian? So remember we said the letters, so like going down to the original, the root of how you develop a language or how you create it. So which one do you think has the most? Excuse me. And I have some additional information for you. And I think that I have a picture too, because I think this is fun. Okay, so Renee, you're going with B, and Lorena's going with A, and Sandra's going with B. So the answer is actually A, Khmer. So in their alphabet, they have 74 letters. English only has 26. So, and these are made of consonants. So consonants, N, P, L, J, and vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So 74 of these suckers. And yeah. And so, and let me show you a picture, because I think this is kind of cool. And let me see. Let me go back out of here. And this is what their language looks like. It looks so pretty. And the way that they end up having so many different letters is they can combine the vowels and create new sounds, I think. Okay, here we go. If you can see that a little bit, look how pretty that looks. And look at how many vowels. So they have, there we go, 33 consonants, 23 independent vowels, and 18 dependent ones. And I think the dependent ones, if I am not mistaken, can get fixed together or attached to the other vowels, and it creates a different sound. So yeah, that's a lot of letters to learn. And if you look at these, oh my goodness, let me try to go a little bit closer, because it all looks the same to me. I guess maybe this is what gets like 14, the dependent vowel for number 14 gets attached to the independent vowel 14. I don't know, but it's very complicated, at least for me. So yeah, but I think that it's interesting to see these things. And then I have another language for us that has the least amount of letters in their alphabet, and that's the language Rotokas, spoken in Papua New Guinea, and it only has 12 letters. So if you want to learn a language with a very low amount of numbers in the alphabet, then you can learn Rotokas, and yeah, in Papua New Guinea with only 12 letters. So I thought that was kind of cute. We have 74 in Cambodia, 12 in Papua New Guinea. Moving on to, let's see, to a very complex language. Excuse me. So I need now 8. I need to kind of memorize these things, huh? I think it was somewhere here, I want to say. Nope. There we go. All right. So which language has 48 noun cases, making it extremely complex to learn? So is it Finnish, Hungarian, or Tabarzaran? To any of my Tabazarian friends out there, or who speak Tabazarian, I apologize for probably butchering this. So what do you think? What have you got for me? A, B, or C? Okay, Lorena's going with Finnish. And any other guesses? What do you think? Which language has 48 noun cases? And these noun cases, just to kind of give you an idea of how this works, the nouns are highly inflected. So it depends on how the grammatical situation or context is. So you change, excuse me, you change the noun according to who owns it. You change it according to the direction. You change the way that the noun is spoken or said or written as well, probably. Direction, location, the means, like how you do it, and the manner, like, and again, like kind of how you do it, I guess. So the noun changes depending on like the situation, like what's happening in the sentence. So, and there are 24, am I saying this? 48 different cases for this, for the nouns. So we have an A, we have a C, and the answer is actually C in Tabarzaran, the Tabazaran language. And it is spoken in the Republic of, I'm going to say Dagestan, maybe Dagestan, Russia. And it is one of the most grammatically complex languages that we know of. I would guess so. Like if the noun changes every time I own something or you own something or I go somewhere, if something is on top of something, if something is under, the noun changes specifically for that situation. And I thought I had it bad with German. This German's starting to look easy. But I thought that was really interesting. And now we're heading on to another area. I can't tell you where. Otherwise, I would give the answer away, which, yeah, it's not so good. So let's move on to number 9. And I think, where is 9? These are so out of order. Okay, here we go. 48 noun cases are too much, definitely, right? Thank you, Jen. I have to leave. I wish you a nice weekend. Thank you, Sandra, for popping by, dear. Thank you. And wishing you a nice weekend as well. So let's see. Which language group uses click sounds? Okay, so excuse me. When you have a language where it makes kind of a sound, that's clicking. Also, you can click with your fingers. This kind of sound, that's a click. So is it Swahili and Yoruba? Is it Thai and Lao? Is it Zulu and Xhosa? So Lorena's going with C. Any other guesses from the other people that are here? So which language group uses a in their language? C as well. Okay, so for those of you who guess C, which is everyone, then Zulu and Xhosa. Exactly. And what's interesting to me is that because we've been to South Africa several times and we've been able to interact with people from there who speak these languages, it's so interesting. Like for me, as like an uneducated person, I just thought it was just this one and done, but it's highly complicated. It's really difficult. And they have like 4 or 5, maybe even more different click sounds for specific things. And when you hear this spoken, it is so beautiful. It's really pretty. It's like this nice little accent on the language. And so, yeah, the Zulu and the Xhosa, and you have the click in that word. I can't say it, unfortunately, but I thought that it's really beautiful. Before I went to Africa, I was very ignorant about it, I have to say, and it just sounded kind of like, oh, that's strange. But now I really appreciate it, and I think it's really beautiful. That's one of those things where when you travel, you can learn to appreciate something much, much better when you have the context and you hear it in its entirety. And so Swahili, spoken mostly in East Africa. We've got Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Comoros, and Mozambique. Swahili is the official language of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. And Yoruba is primarily spoken in Nigeria. And yes, and in parts of Benin and Togo. So I thought I would just add those, and Thai and Lao. So yes, those are probably a little bit maybe more clear. I don't know. All right, so moving on to our last question of the day. And this is kind of a fun one. So let's see. And I think 10, I want to say here, yes. So which island uses whistling? So language, uses a whistling language. Is it La Gomera, Bali, or Fiji? So which one? We had a click, and now we have a whistling. Which one do you think? What are you going to guess? What can you tell me? So Lorena, you're going with C and Fiji. And we've had some people drop out. So let's just go with your answer, Lorena. So the answer is actually A. We're in Spain. We're on the island. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure that I'm saying is used on La Gomera. Okay, so La Gomera, which I don't really know. Let's Google it really quickly. I guess it's an island in the Canary Islands. So Spanish-speaking island. Let's find it on a map real quick. La Gomera. Does anybody know this? Have you ever been there? Gomera. I don't know. My iPad is G-O. Thank you. Let's find a map. All right. So here we go. Oops. Okay, it's not giving me the whole entire area. Okay, here we go. Yes, actually here. So we have La Palma, we have La Gomera, El Hierro, maybe, Tenerife, Gran. So it's it is to the right of Tenerife. So this, if you see here, I'm going to go a little bit closer and move that way and go in. There you can see where it is. So Tenerife, La Palma. So we have it west of Tenerife. And on this island for centuries, I went to the Canary Islands, but I've never heard about it. Yeah, me neither. But evidently, it's a very mountainous island. And it's difficult to communicate. You have a lot of farmers, you have a lot of shepherds, and it's difficult to communicate. So they developed a language over the past couple of centuries where they whistle the alphabet, the Spanish alphabet. So they have different sounds that they will use that tries to kind of mimic, to imitate the alphabet that you have in Spain, in Spanish language. And so they don't use specific sounds to identify like tree or wind or dog, but they will spell out D-O-G by whistling it, so that it sounds like the language. It sounds like the person is spelling it. So they would say hello, they would spell out Hello. Yeah, I think it sounds so cool. It's so amazing. I'd never heard of it. And then this is how they communicate with each other. And let me see, I have more information here. Like I said, they've been doing it for centuries. It's also one of those things that has been culturally protected because a lot of people are moving away from this island. And this is one of these things that has been passed down for centuries from one person to the next, taught to people in the family. Express all kinds of things, everything from ideas, emotions, and practical information. It can travel up to distances of 5 kilometers or about 3 miles in certain conditions, so you can reach a pretty far distance. What else did I want to say? Yeah, I just thought it was really cool that they've turned this whistling into a complex way of communicating with each other. And yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. And I think I want to say that in another quiz I did, I want to say that somewhere in Turkey or somewhere in another mountainous region, there's another people that does this as well, but I don't know. I'm not sure, and I can't remember because I'm Dory. Dang it. But yeah. Anyway, so on this island, La Gomera, they communicate with each other. The farmers do and the shepherds do by whistling to each other. So that could be definitely a reason why I would want to go there, and I would love to hear that. That must be amazing. Spelling out Spanish words by whistling, having distinctive sounds for each of the different letters in the Spanish alphabet. So folks, wishing you a lovely weekend. Take care. I hope that you have a wonderful time with your family and with your friends. And yeah, thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate it. Again, my apologies that the announcement was so late, that we were having a lesson today. I will keep this on Fridays for now. I will travel at the end of the month. And so I'm not really quite sure how that's all going to work. So I will keep you posted on that. Let me see what you have to say. Oh no, Yuki, maybe you can watch the replay. I hope you will have time to do that. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it and that if you learned something new, that's also fun too. That's good. And take care, everyone. Bye.